In today's world of high-speed connection, text messaging, and social networking, we often find ourselves searching for information. There are millions of blogs on the internet. News, sports, politics, and tech. But I bring it all together for you and present it in a relentlessly unconventional fashion. My name is Zenny Abraham, and this is the Blog Report. It's time now for politics.
The curfew ordinance. When we had the lottery ordinance that I drafted and brought forward, she put a sunset date on it for 1 year. The lottery ordinance was never implemented when Chief Rich Word was here because of her putting this 1 year sunset. And OPD came to me when Rich Word was on and said, we need to have this lottery ordinance to deal with all these youthful offenders who are out on the streets. And she wasn't going to vote for it originally, but then she came up, well, let's try it for 1 year. And the plan never got implemented.
After this May, it looks like there's really no new policies that are going into place.
No, there isn't. There isn't. So she just came because she'd been away in Brazil. And so now she comes back because she thought it was going to be a 1 day, 2 day story, come back and it'd be blown over. But then you guys kept asking the most important questions. What about this 100 block plan? Why is the statistics of urban strategy is different from the statistics that you've given? And so now she's coming back and saying, yeah, I accept full responsibility for the inaccuracy. Well, you've been out for 5 months preaching about how good this 100 block plan is going to be in addressing the violent crime. The chief says he cannot sustain it. I have not seen any additional resources put out in my community. And the coordination of city services, well, I drive through my district every week. I've got to call up illegal dumping. So where are all this coordinated effort between all the city departments, even within the 100 block, and even extended beyond the 100 blocks? I've not seen it.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
No, it really doesn't exist.
Hey, Larry,
I mean, so she's giving y'all this political BS, and just go look where she did not. When Parada won the popular vote, but because of this new system that we're in, go look at the statistics and see that she did not win one precinct in my district, didn't win one precinct in Councilmember Brooks' district, did not win one precinct in Nancy Nadal's district. That's her strategy, a 100 block plan, because she felt that she was going to be recalled. And so you had to put together a strategy to go out and empower people and to organize folks. That's why her husband heads up this block by block network that's out there organizing in the weakest part of the city.
Hey, Council President, was this a case of her chief of staff actually pushing her out there? In other words, making statements to the media, and then she came back and deal with it, and now we're here?
Well, she thought it was going to be a 1-2 day story, but you guys kept asking the questions, so she had to do something.
How do you move forward from here? How do you work this out? Because there are people saying, it's easy pickings now in Oakland.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you work it out. I think that's a question that you need to ask our chief. We have limited amount of resources. And as I asked him at the council meeting, give me not the political answer, but give me an honest answer. Can you sustain this 100 blocks? And he said there was no way that he could do that.
So what are they doing? So what are they doing then, Larry?
We have to stay the course.
Well,
We have the right strategy. We just have to keep with it.
well, the mayor is responsible for hiring the city administrator, and the city administrator is responsible for hiring the police chief. So what else would you say if your bosses are standing up there with you? I'd give you the correct political answer, too.
You're saying that they don't believe what they're saying.
If people were honest and upfront, then I think they would give you the correct answer.
So if the chief told you that he's not doing the 100 blocks, what is then going on?
He said he can't sustain the 100 blocks. But, thanks to our partners, the feds, who've been out helping us, then we may make a small impact. But I guarantee you the same issues that the city is faced with now, come next year, we will still be faced with those same issues that are impacting the quality of life for the people in my district. And I'll give you a good example to show you how it's not going to work. We had a serious incident out in East Oakland where we had to call out our SWAT team. We had to do a blue alert. So we had to call all our SWAT team out. And in doing so, we had to pull all the resources from West Oakland, some from North Oakland, to deal with that issue. And while our SWAT team is out, a guy barricaded himself up in the Montclair district. So a second blue alert had to be called out. We did not have enough manpower to go and address that issue. So we had to call Alameda County SWAT team and send what police officers that we could to deal with that. This city was not protected that night because they were dealing with two major issues that was going on in the city. So there is no way that you can sustain this period for any long period of time, even with the help of our outside federal agencies that are in here helping us.
So what do you think the answer is?
I don't know what the answer is. That's why I didn't come up with a 100-block plan to mislead all of y'all and think that we were addressing violent crime in the city. OPD got a very difficult and a very challenging job. We know that. But until we can get more police officers on our force to be able to sustain long-term projects, I don't care if you come up with a 50-block plan strategy. You will not be able to sustain it and will not be able to make a dent. You may see a slight drop in crime, but overall crime is not going to. You asked the right question. Crime is up 20%. But we're politicians, so we know how to give you guys the appropriate political response.
Larry, the mayor and the city administrator acknowledged the need for more police officers, but I didn't hear a plan for hiring anymore. Have you heard of any realistic plan for hiring more officers?
I know the mayor she's been having some folks to do a poll to look to see what the voters in the city would give some thought about supporting. And I've not been privy to what the responses have.
Ballot measures failed.
Well, I mean,
She didn't campaign for it either, did she?
that's a question you have to ask.
But just one last question. But in terms of, can you comment on the mayor's relationship with the city council? How would you describe that at this point?
She doesn't work with the council. I think I know more about my district than she does. But she never reaches out to me. She never reaches out to Ignacio. She never reaches out to Nancy Nadell. She never reaches out to Councilmember Brooks to say what it is that we can do in partnering to help address the problems that each of you are dealing with. She's not done that. I mean, she'll call you when she needs you for something, like a vote on a port commissioner. She will call you and ask if you would be willing. But overall, in terms of the issues that are impacting the quality of life for residents in my district, she doesn't call me. I hear about things that she's doing in my district, but I think I know for 16 years I represented an area that was once known as the killing fields of this city. And in 16 years, the community in which I've worked with for those many years, we made great strides. So I think if the mayor would call me, I can tell her what I think she needs to do. But
does the mayor know this city like she should or needs to?
Well, I think she thinks that she can address the problems that are impacting the quality of life in the city by herself. But she was a member of the city council. She knows the allocation of resources is done by resolutions. That means there are 8 members of the council that have to vote on the expenditure of any city money, that she can't vote on that. The only powers that she has is that she can veto ordinances.
Hey, so are you
So
saying
why
you're
don't-
sorry?
why can't
Are you
the-
saying that sorry the recall wasn't successful?
I'm sorry.
Are you saying you're sorry the recall wasn't successful?
I'd rather keep my comments to myself.
So if the real power is with the council and not the mayor, why doesn't the council majority get together and actually make a dent in this?
Because we ourselves can't agree on, like I said, when I chaired the Public Safety Committee, there's 4 members on the committee. The mayor was one of them. I couldn't even get it out of committee with her support. So that means the other 2 didn't go along with the curfew ordinance as well. And the curfew ordinance is similar to what's down in Long Beach. We had OPD to help us to draft it. OPD said they needed it, and I couldn't get 1 vote to get it out of committee and get it up to the full council for a vote.
And yet she chose to throw you under the bus and blame you.
That's okay. She'll never take blame for anything that doesn't go right. But she'll take credit for everything that goes wrong.
So you not agree with the mayor?
No, I don't.
Why?
I don't, because, you know, I think I know my district better than she does. And as I've always told her, that I understand her reasonings for coming up with this 100 block plan. I mean, she was really concerned about the recall effort. So you take the most serious issue that this city that faces with public safety, and you go out and you begin to organize around those issues. You give people a false sense of hope. And that's what she's done to the residents of the city. She's given them a false sense of hope. Because I guarantee you, the folks up in the hills, when their homes are being broken into and their cars are being stolen, I guarantee you, you'll see a shifting of resources within those 100 blocks to deal with those folks up in the hills, because they are consistent voters.
You know,
So
but
what did you say? A false sense of hope? What did you say she's doing?
She give people a false sense of hope that this plan is going to address the problems that are impacting the quality of life for the people of the city.
do you know what can work better than that plan that she's issuing?
She's never asked me. She's never asked my colleagues. So, you know, this plan is not a plan that was put together by OPD. It's a plan that originated in her office. Sometimes we all think that we know better than the police department. We weren't trained as law enforcement officers. We don't understand police strategy, but some of us on the council think that we do, and obviously in the mayor's office think they understand police strategy.
Is it any coincidence the chief is on vacation today? He was here yesterday.
I couldn't answer that.
If you were the chief, would you want to be sitting next to the mayor?
Would I want to be? If I was the city administrator and the assistant police chief, knowing that the plan was the statistics were wrong, I wouldn't have wanted to stand up there. It's like, let her take the heat. You come up with the plan, then you take the blame. You accept the responsibility. You've been out running for 5 months, you know, telling people that 90% of crime is committed within those 100 blocks. And in urban strategy, who I have the utmost respect for, who went out and did the homework, and the numbers show that what the mayor's been telling the residents of the city is incorrect, I would have stood up there with it. It's like, you take the heat. Your idea, you take the blame.
Can you spell me your full name just for the editors?
Councilmember Larry Reid. Last name is spelled R-E-I-D. First name is spelled L-A-R-R-Y.
President of the Oakland City Council. Yeah, President of the Oakland City.
I apologize, we had a little logistical hiccup. Can I just get you to summarize your position on this again? Even though I think I caught even just the last 20 seconds were probably good.
I wasn't going to let the mayor throw me under the bus.
But I mean, really, I mean, what's the bottom line for you?
The bottom line is, as myself and as others have known on the council, that, you know, crime is much broader than those 100 blocks. And that is a plan that you can't sustain. And that she thought this was going to be a 2-day story until the press kept wanting answers, correct answers. And so she just got back from Brazil, and so now she's going to stand up and say, oops, I'm sorry, the numbers were wrong, but the plan is the right plan to do. And when I asked the police chief in a public meeting to give me the correct answer, not the political answer, but your honest answer, of whether or not this is a plan that you could sustain, and he said, no, don't have the resources. We don't have the resources. And the crime is much broader. And then the coordination of city departments in those 100 block plans, if all of that was true, then I wouldn't have to spend my Wednesdays and Fridays driving through the 100 block area and the rest of my district and calling in graffiti, illegal dumping. So the plan is, for me, it's about giving people in the city a false sense of hope that the mayor has really put together a strategy to deal with the major issue in the city that is impacting the quality of life for folks. And whether or not we come back in a year and evaluate this plan, you won't see any change. You may see a small change, but that 100 block plan is not going to make the kind of difference
Hey Larry, did you come to the press conference knowing that she was going to, she was going to?
No, I just wanted to hear what she said, but I knew she was going to come back and say, yeah, the plan, the numbers were wrong. I mean, you would too. When you thought it was a 2-day story, and that when you came back, it was going to be a non-issue, but you guys keep asking questions and writing stories, so she had to do something.
Larry, if I could just ask you real quickly, since January, I've been asking the mayor, the police chief, council members, are there 100 blocks?
We don't know. We can't answer that question for you.
Well, it appears now there are. The blocks that account for 90% of the crime are not 100 blocks.
Did she just take that from Mike Bispero's plan when he had the 100 blocks years ago when we worked for Elihu? Was that where that came from? They just lifted it?
Well, a lot of the stuff that she's talking about, the coordination of law
Yeah.
enforcement agencies. Zenny, you work for Elihu. You knew we met over at the Garden Center once a month with all the federal agencies coordinating how to address the problems in the city, and that's not new. And it's something that I tried to get her folks to do long time ago when she had the first public safety coordinator. So we don't know where the 100 blocks.
I think she also wanted a